wonderfully generous offers being lower than what I pay my babysitter per hour. That is unacceptable. So I realize that money does not grow on trees, but I think that it is irresponsible governance, verging on the worst of, again, not to ding any political party, what we have seen in the last 36 years at the federal level to say, well, we don't have enough money, so we can't pay the people. So what does that teach our kids? It teaches our kids that the people who work for you, well, you know, they kind of provide services. Is that going to raise them to be voters who are going to vote for progressive policies? Or is it going to leave them further in their bubble? And believe me, in this town, I'm hardly Daddy Warbucks compared to some people. But I recognize that part of the reason that we could be progressive is that we're also rather affluent, or at least a sizable chunk of us are.
30 seconds.
If we can't do it, who's going to do it? If we can't provide this example, how are we supposed to go forward to other communities and say, the federal government needs to change again? We can't do that. So I'd like everyone at home to check out brooklineparents.org, where there are other, perhaps less exercised parents working with me to look at, well, what could we spend money on? What could we cut back on? And if under the new government at the top, the race to the top is going to become the race to the bottom, then maybe we need to relook at some of these tests that are associated with federal initiatives so that we don't end up polluting our otherwise progressive mindset any further. And we have money to pay the people who work with our children.
I'm Kate Bowditch. Am I next?
Yes.
Okay, great, thanks. I'm a former Brookline Public School student, parent of Brookline Public School students who are out of the house and hopefully becoming adults. And my partner is a teacher of almost 20 years in the system. So I am really, almost didn't want to speak because I'm so impressed and humbled by the speakers who came before me, and I just thank you all so much. And thanks, it's great to see so many people here tonight. I guess very shortly I'm going to say I support the paraprofessionals, obviously. That's why we're here. That's why this is ongoing, and the union position on the contract, I think I also very much want to say I support. This is a budget issue, and budget issues are about choices. We all know that.
That's right.
No one's hands are tied. When you have a budget, you have choices, and what we're really asking as a community, I'm not a teacher, I'm not a para, I'm a resident of Brookline and a parent, and I really care about this, and what you're hearing from us and all the people out there with yard signs and everything is make different choices, please.
That's right. Yeah.
Finally, I'm not going to go on because other people can and have spoken much more eloquently about how important it is. I just do feel, having sat here for 2 hours now, that I have to comment on your process. I felt the process tonight was unnecessarily rigid and inflexible.
Yeah.
I felt repeatedly patronized sitting out there in the audience.
Yep.
It was really shocking.
Here, here.
I felt your comments about being respectful of the process felt false, and as if what you were really trying to do was control this process.
Right, yeah.
It's really hard to feel comfortable with you and like we can possibly work together with you when that's the feeling I have sitting in the audience, and I would very much encourage you to think about your process and how you want to work with this town and these teachers and the paraprofessionals and everybody else moving forward, because this feels really bad. It doesn't feel like it's working. It doesn't feel like we can progress. Now we're moving into fact-finding. It feels dreadful. It feels divided, divisive, and extremely painful. We need to move past this. We have to get a new school built. We have to pass an override or two, or I don't know how many. We have to be able to work with you in confidence and comfort. We have to be able to feel like all of us are going to be able to pick up our phones and knock on our neighbors' doors happily and enthusiastically. And it's a huge effort. I've gone through it twice in this town. It is not easy. And it's really hard when it feels like it feels right now in our town. And when I sit in a meeting and it feels like this, I'm just crushed. And all I can say is, you know, I support these guys. I don't want to hear people being personally insulted in a public meeting. It's just not right. And I'm not going to say any more except I hope that we can move on, make some different choices, get a good, fair contract, pay our paras better, and move on to the next challenges that we have to face in our town to maintain a great town and a great school system. Thank you.
Kathy Stahl. Okay. And then next is Melissa Castro.
Going together.
Okay.
I'm Kathy Stahl.